Good morning, traders. What's up, team? Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Rafi Trade, Paul, I see you guys. How's it going? Taking a look at news real quick. We had some stuff released about an hour ago that didn't move the market a ton, but that could definitely have an effect when the market opens here in a couple minutes. And then we have consumer confidence at 10 o'clock Eastern. So that's about 30 minutes after the market opens. And then I didn't see this yesterday when I looked, but there's a Trump cabinet meeting at noon. So for me, that would be a good time to not be trading. I'm not a fan of purposely taking trades while Trump is having meetings. Can't really do much to help when he randomly tweets or makes announcements, but when he has a scheduled meeting, I try not to be in the market. So I'll avoid that. So that's what we have for news. And then, I was going to say NVIDIA, but that's tomorrow. So we can worry about that later. Good morning, MX Fafo. How's it going? So taking a look at the chart, overall, we've kind of had a downtrend for the last couple days. It looks like it's working on retracing that big move from Friday. I still see this level down here at 23, like 275. That would be a good spot to retest. But it has been holding this 23,400 level pretty strongly. Both Asia and London wicked down into that region and held pretty good. So I could definitely see us getting a move up first, and then if it holds, we could get some continuation up. But if we reject this 500 level from yesterday, 530 to 550 in here, if we reject there, I could see more downside. But if I was to guess, if you were going to make me place a bet, just guessing, not taking a trade off of this, but I would guess that the market opens up to this like 530, 540 level. And then we'll see what happens, but possible correction from there. Or if we reclaim it, we could be going higher. So those are my two scenarios, and I actually laid those out in our Discord last night. Those are my thoughts. So we'll see. Kind of watching this region right here. If it gets up there, we do have London and Asia high right below that, so we could potentially just grab that liquidity and drop. But that's kind of my thought, that we'll get a move up first at the open. We'll see. We'll find out in about 7 minutes. This is the trading plan that I kind of laid out in Discord last night. Was thinking that we'll come up to this yesterday's like point of control value area low-ish area before rejecting, or the bull case is if it holds that level, it reclaims point of control, we could see higher. kind of my guesses, my game plan for today. Tell me your thoughts, chat. What are you thinking for today? You thinking we're going up, going down? What are your thoughts? Zoomed out to this higher time frame, there's lots of wicks on the downside here. This is the hourly. Like I said, we held this region right here, 23,400-ish, pretty good all night. And now we've actually reclaimed yesterday's low. So that could potentially be providing some support for us for a little bit more of a move up. I don't get the feeling that we're just going to the moon today, but possibly a little pump at the open. Good morning, everybody. If you guys are just tuning in, good to see you. Say hello in the chat, let me know you're here. Hope you guys are doing well. Locked and loaded, ready for a good day. Good morning, Neil. How's it going? All right. So on the hourly, like I said, we have lots of wicks on the downside. Holding above VWAP right now. Let's see if this holds. The news that came out about an hour ago gave us a little bit of a green candle when it was released. Not a whole lot of volume behind it, probably because the market hadn't opened yet. That was durable goods, I think. So we could see some effects from that at the open too. Doing well, Neil. Ready to have a good day today. Trying to get used to this new morning routine. It feels a little bit more rushed now that the kids are back in school. Got to get them all like fed and out the door and on the way to school and then back back to the market open. It's a little bit crazier than what it was like over summer break. Good morning, Nick. All right, market's opening up in about 1 minute. Let's see if this VWAP holds and we get a little move up. Now that I'm zoomed in, my red dot's huge. This is kind of the level I'm watching for a potential rejection if this is just going to be a move up and then reject. Or, I mean, I could be all wrong altogether. We could just move down at the open. But that was my initial guess. Good morning, Shez. All right, so far at the open, we are getting a little move up. Let's see if we get some continuation. See where this thing heads. Lots of volume behind it. Coming on up to London high. See if it sweeps it and rejects or if this thing just keeps going. We do have Asia high right above it. And then this blue line right here is actually yesterday's anchored VWAP from the New York Open. Which is interesting that it's sitting right at Asia high. So that could be a possible spot for a rejection. Gonna sit patient today though. Yesterday I definitely took a few fast, kind of anxious trades, I guess, before letting price action settle. So I'm not going to make that same mistake today. All right, coming right through London high. Let's see if it continues. Definitely not much of a liquidity grab pullback on that one, at least so far. It's looking strong. Look at that volume, you guys. You can see this candle like way above all the others. Holy cow. Look at that volume. And we still have almost 2 minutes left on this candle, you guys. Dang. All right, we got a small little rejection at London high, but it's continuing to push through. Looks like it's headed towards at least Asia high. This baby's running. Let's go. I like point of control as a possible target. Let's see how it reacts up there. Brian, do you only paper trade? Nope. I trade in funded prop firm accounts. Right now, I just chart on TradingView, but when I take a trade, I come over to my prop firm. But no trades so far, that's why I'm still on TradingView, just watching price action right now. Let's see if it continues up to this Asia high and grabs that liquidity and rejects, or like I said, could continue. There was a lot of volume on that candle. It's rejecting that 500 level, which this gray shaded area, those of you guys who have followed me, you know this is a higher time frame, high volume node. And it's been holding pretty well. That was where London rejected. That was where this spot over here rejected. It was support over here. So we could get a little pullback there. I wouldn't count on it though. This is looking decently strong. Oh, Nick, congrats. You passed one of your TradeDay accounts. So today is number 7. So you're basically just logging a trade today. You've already hit your 3K target. You just need to log a trade for day 7. Want to learn how to manage the account and reach the 4K to achieve 2K payout goal. Awesome. Congrats. The biggest thing I would say is, for me, what has helped me is treat it like a prop firm that has like a typical 20% consistency, and just take a week, take 10 days to hit that target. A mistake I've made in the past is passing a challenge. Like I did this with Take Profit, I did it with TradeDay, I've done it in a couple of accounts, and I think I finally learned my lesson. But I'll pass the challenge, which takes, 5 days, 7 days, whatever account you're using. And then as soon as I pass the challenge, it's like the handcuffs are off. And I'm like, I'm going to make that 2K buffer in one day. And then I just blow the account. It sounds stupid when you say it out loud, obviously. But that's just what happened to me mentally. So the way I fix that is treat it just like any other like direct to funded account where you have to hit a specific consistency, like max yourself out at $600 a day, $900 a day, like whatever is a good amount for you that sounds reasonable, and just take your time to hit that target. So kind of set some guardrails for yourself, I guess would be the way I would say to do it. Don't let yourself try to hit that 2K buffer and then 4K payout in 2 days, because then you're going to trade like a degen. Set up some guardrails for yourself and take it slow. Well, we definitely rejected that London high level. Coming back down to VWAP, which is also the bottom of the 15-minute opening range for now, considering taking a little long here. Watching how it reacts. The risk to reward would be decent. That's why I'm considering it. All right. Went long. 483 is where I got in. Put my stop loss below that wick. And then 520 is Asia high. So that's where I'll target. Let's see if it continues up. So far, so good. All right, I'm gonna scale out, take some off at Asia High. I'll take a larger portion of it, 3 out of the 5. And then I'll leave some for point of control, which is where I'm thinking it's ultimately headed. We're getting back above London High now. Still stuck at that 500 level. Come on, break above, let's go. All right, I'm moving to break even just because there's a lot of volatility in the market right now. And being kind of fighting at that 500 level makes me worried about it ultimately going lower. All right, it's about to grab that Asia liquidity, and then let's see if we get continuation from there or if it rejects back down. Point of control is 543, yeah. Is it gonna grab that Asia high? Oh, come on. Did I put it too far out of reach? Nick, TradeDay will do it all automatically. So at the end of the day, so if today is day 7, if you've passed by the end of today, they'll send an email saying like, congrats, you've passed your evaluation. And you'll get like 5 emails. That's what happened to me. You'll get an invite to join a Rise account. You'll get a notification that your monthly subscription has been canceled. And then you'll get an invite to like set up your funded account. So maybe just 3 emails, but yeah, it was a lot. All right, coming back down below that 500 level. Come on, let's get some continuation up. I'm gonna move it just a little bit because it didn't quite come to the top of Asia High. The opening range is set in about 1 minute. Oh my gosh. Just missed my target, and now it's going to come back down to my stop loss. There you go. Locking out the account. Good job. That's the way I did it when I passed those accounts. I had hit my profit target in 4 days, I think. So the last 3 days, I just logged a trade. I held one micro for like 30 seconds, green or red, I didn't care. I made like $19 one day and I lost $16 the next day. It didn't matter. But yeah, that's how I passed it on the last couple days. All right, well, that was annoying. I had the right idea, just didn't quite reach my target. On to the next. Still holding above VWAP, coming back towards the bottom of the opening range. I still could see this thing going lower, ultimately. But my thought is it's gonna come up to point of control first. All right, I'll move that out of the way since that one got stopped out a little above break even. Coming down to VWAP. Are we gonna bounce again? Nope. All right, breaking outside of that 15-minute range. Let's see if we get a little pullback and we could possibly take a short. Don't want to chase it at this point. I would consider a short if we got back up to here, maybe to 465-ish. But stop loss would have to be up there. We could target Asia low somewhere down there. Let's see if it gives us a pullback. Not much of one. Zoomed in on the 1 minute. It did pull back and retest a little bit. There you go, Maverick. Good job. Breaking below previous day low, which a lot of times if the ultimate move is higher, that's a good spot to hold. All right, coming back up, opening range low and VWAP. See if it rejects from here. Interesting spot. Makes me wonder if yesterday's low is going to hold or if it's going to reject from VWAPs, the VWAPs here. Let's see if it goes lower. Gonna get back outside the range. MX FAFO, there you go. Doing some paper trading before going live. Yeah, paper trading is, in my opinion, is a decent place to start, at least for just learning like sizing and kind of getting used to the fast movement of the market and how to click all the buttons and stuff. It doesn't really get into the emotional side of things though. So even if you're not confident enough to buy like a $250 sim funded, like straight to funded account, you could do one of the challenges. There's some that are, $50, $100, like nothing that's too crazy to break the bank. But then at least you have a little bit of skin in the game. It's not wanting to reject. Interesting. It held that previous day low. It really trapped. Like that was a trap. It looked like it was going to be an opening range break to the downside, rejection off of VWAP. Just kept going up. Let's see what it does at the top of this 15-minute opening range. It's sitting right at Asia high. So we can see if it comes to the top of that range and then rejects, or if it breaks out on the upside too. That was quite an engulfing candle on the 5-minute. My goodness, you guys. This is not pretty. Very wicky price action. Looks like it's headed at least to the top of the 15-minute opening range. And then we'll see if it breaks out and comes up to yesterday's point of control, or somewhere in this region, 530-ish to 545. And then this area right here is kind of, for me, gonna tell the story. If it rejects, that could be our high of the day and we're gonna see much lower. If it reclaims this area, then we'll go higher. That's my game plan. Strong buy up on that 15-minute candle. So we have this resistance right here from the overnight session. And then if we break above that, we do have this fair value gap, which actually goes on up to that point of control target that I have. So we'll see. Still choppy though. Not one to continue in either direction right now. Taking every position out. Basically just blowing accounts today. That's what price action is doing. We do have consumer confidence coming out in 1 minute also. So if you guys are sitting in a trade, tighten up those stop losses. If you're not in a trade, then just wait, sit out. That's probably part of the reason things are pretty choppy right now. All right, consumer confidence is out. Getting a little move up. Not a whole lot though. Slow to react on that news. Still choppy, not a ton of volume behind it. Oh man. I don't want to have another day like yesterday, you guys. Still stuck at that 500 level. We don't have any other news coming out, so no other like big reasons for huge pumps or dumps. But we do have the Trump cabinet meeting in about 2 hours. So my plan is definitely to be done trading by then. I don't want to deal with Trump making announcements. So hopefully we start to get a little bit of a trend and not super choppy. Stuck below that 23,500 level right now, but also holding nicely above VWAP. So this could just kind of be a consolidation for a bigger move up. I personally wouldn't take a long here though. I do think it's going to move up, but the reason being the risk to reward wouldn't be great. And I like to look at that. So if I was to take a long here, stop loss below these wicks, I mean, yes, ultimate target, like ultimately point of control. But if you're being conservative, Asia high and the 15-minute opening range high is right there. That's not even a 2-to-1, which is not great. So for me, the better trade that I'm waiting for is to see how price reacts at this 540-ish level, 540 to 550. And then we could take a trend continuation trade if it holds above. Find a spot for a pullback or a rejection from there. That's what I'm waiting for. Sasma, how's it going? It's good to see you in the chat. Chetan, good morning, how are you? Welcome. Just watching this choppy price action right now. This white line that I have here, that's the anchored VWAP from yesterday's New York session. There's quite a bit of confluence for this level that it's rejecting right now. It's currently the high of the day with the overnight session. Currently our 15-minute, well, it is the 15-minute opening range high, and then that VWAP from yesterday. So looking like it's trying to gain some speed to break through that. Because I wouldn't say it's necessarily rejecting it, at least yet. Well, there we go. I say that. Chaitan is in a short from 506. Target is 427. Yep, I'm leaning towards shorts today also. I don't want to get into anything in the middle of this range though, because it is currently holding above VWAP and it hasn't come up and like grabbed any of this liquidity up here. I do feel like it could potentially move higher. So I do think shorts are the ultimate play. Like that's why I'm waiting for it to come up to this level and watch for a reaction, watch for a rejection. That was my game plan, my trading plan for today. So far, getting a little bounce off of that anchored VWAP. I'm actually surprised that with the New York Open, we didn't have more of a reaction to Trump's announcement last night about firing the Fed, or I shouldn't say firing, I don't know. Firing, is that the right word? Removed one of the Fed members. We had a big reaction to it in the Tokyo session. I kind of thought that we would have a little bit of backlash from that, like a reaction in the US, from the US market in the New York Open. But it didn't seem like that affected us at all. I guess it's old news by now. I did take that long, Min. I was holding this high volume area that I had marked off. Good bounce off of VWAP. Got out with stops in profit. I trailed my stop loss on it. Had target number 1 at Asia high and it didn't quite grab it. And then ultimate target was a point of control. Didn't go up there. So yeah, at this point, I'm just waiting for a good spot to short off of. See how it reacts at Asia high. If we get a rejection from there, if not, point of control and value area low. These are kind of the areas I'm watching for a rejection from. All right, so we're breaking out of our 15-minute high, which is also Asia high. Getting a little bit of a rejection there, kind of a liquidity grab by the looks of it. I'm debating on if this is the short. Still chopping around here, that's for sure. All right, I went ahead and entered short at that 500 level. So there's lots of confluence for this, you guys. I was leaning towards shorts anyway. 23,500 has been a big resistance for a couple days now. This is a higher volume resistance area. We grabbed that Asia high liquidity and rejected pretty strongly. There's lots of volume behind that one. It's also yesterday's anchor VWAP. So good reasons for me at least to enter short here. 500.25 was my entry. I'll pull it over onto the screen here in a second. And I'll probably scale out of this as we go. But if this thing stays heavy, I mean, this is kind of my ultimate target, 250-ish, 275, somewhere down here. I wouldn't hold the whole position down there though. Again, my only hesitation is the point of control and value area high up here. But that was a decent rejection off of that Asia high. We just gotta get some continuation down. Possibly got in a little bit too early. Getting a little bounce off of that anchored VWAP. That was a strong buy up right there on that 5-minute candle. Let's see if it wants to continue down. Buyers are definitely fighting for this thing. If it gets back above this Asia high, then it's going to stop me out. That was kind of where I was hoping it would reject. Okay, George, what's going on? Good morning. Yep. It's looking like it's coming higher. It's about to stop me out. Yeah, okay, George, welcome to the Chop Fest. Alrighty, I'm out. This is ugly, you guys. Even on that, there's same story as yesterday, just no continuation either way. Like, this is making you think it's just gonna break out. And now it's rejecting. So after wicking me out, now is it just gonna dump? Or is the slow grind up gonna continue? Let's see what the initial balance brings us in about 10 minutes. But it might be another day where I just lock up and wait for tomorrow, wait for another day. Nick, is it best to short under 400? Yeah, possibly. I would say you wouldn't even have to wait until under 400. I mean, I guess for me, I'm kind of short biased anyway, but if it breaks below VWAP, you could come lower. And then, I mean, target London low, Asia low, there's lots of targets down below, depending on how bearish you are. The slow grind up continues. After the last few days, they're just looking to take people's money. Yup. It's been tough lately. Yesterday I didn't do great. Today, so far, not doing great. First trade, got hit, my trailing stop loss hit for $30, whatever it was. And then this one got stopped out. 27-point stop loss. Coming up to point of control. So this was kind of the level I was watching for a rejection at. Doesn't look very rejecty at this point. So let's see, we do have the initial balance being set in about 7 minutes. So we can see if it starts to show weakness around this level, and then also having the initial balance be set. That could be a setup. It's also filling this fair value gap right here. So that's interesting. Zooming out to this higher time frame though, doesn't make a short look very inviting. This 4-hour candle still has a lot of time left on it, so the story could change. This 30-minute candle has a lot of time left on it too. So yeah, the story could change, but dang, right now, looking pretty green. I'm watching this spot though. I'm gonna stay patient and wait for it to start showing some weakness if it's going to happen. But like I said, this is a fair value gap fill. This is point of control from yesterday. Decent resistance here if it starts to go down. We shall see. Tell me in the chat, you guys, what are you trading right now? Anyone finding some good setups? What are you watching? Well, so far it's definitely not continuing above this point of control and this fair value gap fill. Three more minutes until initial balance is set. Mohammed waiting for losing momentum, filling the fair value gap. Yeah, I'm kind of watching the same. Volume is starting to slow down a little bit. Maybe we can see some volume to the downside here in a bit. But yeah, 23,550-ish pretty much is what I see for that fair value gap fill. Almost all the way to the top. Rejecting point of control. Shez, who do you trade with? I think I've only remembered two. You have the futures desk and then Top Step, I think. Who's your third? All right, we have 1 minute until initial balance, but I'm considering starting to scale into a position here and then adding to it as we get confirmation. Okay. The one that you won for me, I forgot about that one. Alrighty, this is our initial balance high, unless something changes in the next couple seconds. I'm gonna start a position start scaling in. 38.06 is my first entry. $23,538. If we start to get more selling pressure, I'll get in more. Right now I have 4 contracts in, which is a pretty small position considering stop loss is not that much. I'll add once we start getting some selling pressure though, if it happens. If not, it'll just be a little paper cut and I'll be done. Because then my idea would have been wrong. I'll give it a little bit of room. Came back up and retested that initial balance high. Need sellers to show up. Yeah, Nick, you totally could be right. You could be right. This was the level I was watching from last night, honestly. And then having that confluence with the fair value gap and the fact that initial balance is right there. That was enough reasons for me. And the fact that it's a small position size at this point, since we don't have the selling pressure yet. The risk to reward was worth it for me. And then as far as targets, I just drew this line down here. We could target possibly initial balance low, VWAP, kind of just see how price action goes. Like I said earlier, if this thing gets heavy, ultimate target could be way down here, 275-ish, but that's 300 points away, so I'm not going to count on that. Probably will just scale out along the way. It's like we're starting to see some sellers, but buyers eat it right back up each time. Would be nice if we could see some good selling pressure so I could feel better about being right on this. Chopping around. Nick, you're wanting to see it break 520 and hold below? Yeah, that could be a shorter play or a safer play for sure. Getting back below the 15-minute opening range high, which on a higher time frame, like the reasoning behind that would be the high of the day, overnight high. Getting below that would definitely give some confirmation, that's for sure. Yeah, if we start to break below some of those levels and hold, then I'll have confirmation on the trade and I can add to the position a little bit. And I'd be able to tighten up my stop loss a little bit too. So we're over an hour into this session. Let's see what our current session volume profile is looking like. Point of control is right here at the anchored VWAP. That's an interesting spot. Could be a good spot to potentially scale out targets. All right, starting to get some selling pressure. I do agree with Nick though that this area here, 15-minute opening range high and Asia high, is a potential spot for a bounce if this thing is going to continue higher. So I'm not going to add yet. Now that we have moved away from the initial balance though, I am going to tighten my stop loss to just above these wicks at 549. So that lowers my risk a little bit. I still only have 4 contracts in at this time. So still a small position, waiting for an opportunity to add. Shez is short from 541. Very nice. Dang. You had a better entry than I did. Let's see if it breaks below this level right here. There we go. Still bouncing at that 15-minute opening range. All right, I added a little bit since we are it was starting to show signs of going down since we got a bounce. So average is now at 533. I'll move this down a little bit. Now let's get some continuation. Yeah, you're right, Nick. It keeps bouncing to that level. Hopefully it's just a temporary bounce, though, and we get some continuation lower. All right, stop me out. Just came up and wanted to wick people out, I guess. Yeah, that was annoying, Shez. Yeah, I'm considering re-entering. Just kind of, I guess, evaluating my emotions and making sure it's not FOMO. Making sure that the trade idea is still right. So I don't want to feel like I'm chasing it. All right, so moving this over. Man, it is just not wanting to go down. Setting up lots of traps here. Yeah, Nick, that's not a terrible plan to wait for confirmation if you want to go short. The thing with that though is you probably have to size down a little bit more because stop loss would have to be a little bit bigger. Like if you got in somewhere below 520 to confirm that it was kind of making a new low, stop loss will be up here. That's, 30-point stop loss. And depending on where you wanted to target, risk to reward might not be that great. Another option would be to possibly scale in. So if you are wanting to short, you could take a small position here and then add to it once you got confirmation of a hold below 520. So that's an idea too. All right, I'm gonna start scaling in again. So 537 is my first entry. I don't know if I'll add to this position again since I've already gotten stopped out on the same idea before. we'll see. See how this one plays out. The longer it holds up here, the faster it'll fall. I hope you're right, Min. You said when, if it falls. I know. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but still. Yeah, that's so right, though. Either way, honestly, just this consolidation in general, whichever way it breaks out, it's gonna be a big move. If it breaks out to the upside, it'll probably move pretty quickly. If it breaks out to the downside, it'll move pretty quickly. Still chopping around this area. Testing my patience, that's for sure. My goodness. There you go, Nick. Good job calling it a day. That might not be a bad idea. Volume is starting to die off. It's not moving anywhere. And it's coming from my stop loss. Have a good one, Nick. Take care. Mohammed, those ugly wicks. Yeah. Yup. The 5-minute chart, this last 30 minutes, haven't really moved much in this range. I like that wick, but there's 3 minutes left on this candle, so let's see if it actually holds. Look at the 100 and 500 tick chart. Does it show the wicks being even worse? No, I didn't get stopped out. My stop loss is above that wick at 552. That's where I have it. Come on, let's get some continuation. Even just a full bar, full red-bodied candle on the 5-minute would be nice. We haven't had any of those. This one was decent right here. The 935 central candle on the 5-minute chart. That was my initial short try. But then it bounced right back up at that 520 level. Pure stop loss hunting right now. Yep. So at some point, they're going to be done playing their little game and hopefully get some continuation in one direction, right? You would hope. That would be the hope. Oh, man. I don't feel bad about retrying this same entry. Couple reasons, kind of just talking myself through this to make sure I'm managing my emotions correctly. But from the beginning, like even last night's trading plan, I was looking for shorts. There was lots of confluence for this level. And then even after just getting wicked out, I waited like 6 more minutes to confirm that I wanted to re-enter. So it's not like it was an immediate re-entry. So I feel okay about it. All right, if we hold below this level, like a good candle closure below, we break below 520, I'll add to my position, and then I'll start setting up some profits to scale out, some profit targets. I'd love to see this thing just like decide to dump. Because ultimately, I mean, we could go down to IB low, but I don't want to be too greedy. I'll start scaling out. Probably take some off at point of control right here because there's lots of chop in this region. And that's also just a round psychological number of 500, 23,500. And then probably take some off here at VWAP. And then start scaling out. Really, I know I'm counting my eggs before they hatch, but even if we get all the way down to IB low, I might leave a runner for London low or Asia low, because down here is where I want it to go, 275, 280. But yeah, we're still way up here. So not getting too excited about that yet. First things first, gotta get below this 520-ish level. And again, we are bouncing. What the heck? Yep. Bouncing at the top of the 15-minute opening range. And then it was also our overnight high. Asia high is over here. There was quite a bit of chop at this level. So it's not just the 15-minute opening range. There's quite a bit of support there. That's what I'm saying. We gotta break below that level and hold it. Earlier, we kind of wicked below it, but bounced. So a good candle closure below and continuation would kind of show us that we're going to hit some of those lower targets. Shez, did you re-enter the short? Cool. $537, nice. Right where I'm at. $537's not bad, because even if you put your stop loss way above the high, that's only a 15-point stop loss. That's not too bad. Well, the bounce this time off of that 15-minute opening range high was a little bit less this time. Volume was quite a bit lower on it so far. So hopefully the buyers at this level are starting to die off. And we're gonna go lower. Yeah, we think it looks weaker, Shez. And then it does stuff like that. Let's go. Come on, baby. You know you want to. Sometimes I wish there was an opportunity to be a fly on the wall, like in my thoughts, because I make myself laugh sometimes. When you said, "Here we go," Shez, my first thought, I totally got a visual in my head of like sitting in a roller coaster. You know how when you like creep slowly up to the top and you get over the edge and you're like, "Here we go." That whole movie just played out in my head when you said that. Except now I feel like we're stuck at the top of a broken ride. Like we did that slow creep up and the ride broke and we're stuck and we're hanging off the edge and it won't let us go. That's what's happening right now. Similar butterflies in the stomach when that happens too, huh? Imagine being stuck at the top like that on a broken ride. About the same as this feeling. Yeah, I'm hoping what this means, MX Fafo, is that it's trapping all the buyers. Like everyone has been buying at this 520 level. Everyone's expecting a breakout from this 15-minute opening range high. So all it needs to do is drop down below like 512 and there's just going to be a stop hunt. It's going to squeeze all those people and we're going to drop. There we go. Like that. Just like that. And then it chops again. Oh my gosh. You guys, this might be one of those trades where I have to like set my targets and my stop loss and just walk away. Because I might overmanage it. Just getting anxious, like watching it chop around. Might not be a bad idea. Set my targets and then go take my dog for a walk or something. The 50 million 5-minute orb traders are holding up the market. Yeah. That's actually why I'm thinking that as soon as it like holds below this 15-minute opening range high, we could just see it drop like really fast. So I feel it coming. We just need to hold below this level. So yeah, you're right. We're on the same page, Travis. Well, at least we're on the same page. I don't know if we're right, but that's what I'm thinking. See what happens when Mr. Trump speaks? You know, that's not a bad reason to leave a runner. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier when I was counting my chickens before they hatch. But yeah, we could definitely go lower. Well, depending on what he says, of course. He could also make it shoot to the moon if he talks about how we've come up with some sort of tariff deal or whatever. Oreo, you think I'm over trading? So I've taken 4 trades so far. This first one hit my trailing stop loss in profit. This is the only one that I would say maybe I didn't stay patient enough. But these two, no, I don't think I was over trading. Because if you're in our Discord and you see that this was my trading plan, I was watching for a rejection from point of control. I had lots of confluence for that level. So got just barely wicked out on this first one and just re-entered the same idea. So no, I don't think that's over trading. I managed my risk well. I'm good. But this one right here, yeah, possibly could have been a little more patient just because I was watching for the point of control level. Even as I was entering, I was like, maybe it's going to go higher. But it was a liquidity sweep rejection from Asia High, and we did have a good sell-off. It just bounced and got stopped out on that one. Oreo, you're asking what was my entry off of? Which one? I have 4 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one are you talking about? So the reason for this trade, there's a couple reasons, and the reason why I took it twice, although it's not necessarily playing out like I would have hoped. If you zoom out to the higher time frame, so point of control from yesterday's session volume profile is sitting at 543. We also have this higher time frame fair value gap that it was filling at about 550. So this 540 to 550-ish level was an area that I was watching anyway. Even pre-market, it was a level that I had marked out. And then we have our initial balance high had been set right at that level. And I do like to trade the initial balance ranges. So since we've been rejecting initial balance, and that was already a key level that I had pointed out, that's why I've been willing to take 2 shorts off of that level. The problem is just that we're not getting continuation. Buyers are definitely defending this 520 level. So that is our problem so far. Like Travis was saying though, once these 15-minute orb traders blow their accounts enough, then we'll be golden. Then it's gonna go down. That's my hope, at least. Come on, let's make a new low. Oreo got in long at 494 and hit your TP. There you go. That's one cool thing about trading, is that everyone can trade different. Like, you can be long, I can be short, and depending on where our stop losses and our profits targets are, everybody can make money. You just gotta stick with your strategy and make sure to manage your risk well. I'm more of a, like, I wouldn't say higher time frame because I'm on the 5-minute chart, but like, I try to go for a bigger, like, trend continuation type of move. Like, I would rather find a couple of good trades and try to find the one that I'm actually going to be right on and hold it for a bigger portion of the move. I'm not going to say I'm going to, like, try to catch the whole move, but that's my trading strategy, is I'll hold it for longer and try to catch more points. And then there's people like you in the chat who trade the 1 minute and they're just looking for like 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, like little scalps. So you could be going the complete opposite direction of me and you make money while I'm also making money, like I said, in the opposite direction. So it's an interesting thing about trading that I like. Another thing I've noticed too, when I went to a trading boot camp, we had a morning session where everyone was trading together. And there were so many different strategies in the room, like VWAP, volume profile, mean reversion, like all kinds of different stuff. And people were taking almost identical trades, like same entry, long, similar stop loss, but completely different strategies. So they had totally different reasons to be entering that trade, but it was the same trade. That was pretty cool to watch too. Definitely proof that any strategy can work. You just have to manage your risk and manage your emotions well, and you can make money doing lots of different things. Do you ever trade the Asia session? I do sometimes. I shouldn't. My hesitation in answering was, the short answer is yes, I do trade Asia. I'm trying not to. I like to trade it on Sunday nights when it opens, because a lot of times there is lots of movement. But there's times that I take a trade during the Asia session kind of out of boredom, to be honest. Like sometimes I just feel a pull to the market and I'm like, oh, I'm going to check my charts and take a trade. And those times I should probably just take it on like a paper trading account, because I don't have a great win rate in the Asia market, probably because I'm distracted and taking board trades sometimes. Oreo, no, I don't use ICT necessarily. Like, I really haven't even looked at a ton of their videos. I know I pointed out that fair value gap, but I don't, like, that's not high on my list of confluences. I actually found that 550-ish level that I took the short off of from volume profile. So I use the session volume profile and mark off value area high, point of control, and value area low. And then I also use the higher time frame volume profile to find my support and resistance. So that's really how I found that level initially. And then just zooming out to the higher time frame, I saw that there happened to be a fair value gap there. So I was like, oh, look, it's added confluence. But no, I don't typically trade fair value gaps. Yeah, bar 7B, you can relate to the boardroom trades during the Asia session. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at it. If I feel the pull to trade, I'll try to make myself take a paper trade. It's getting better for me though. I think it was harder during the summer because we had more downtime where we were hanging out at home or sitting by the pool or whatever. But now that my kids' school year has started and we have like soccer practice and lots of different events going on in the evening when the Asia session is happening for me, I am too busy to even look at the charts. So just by default, I haven't been taking those trades, which is a good thing. I don't like that this thing is not continuing down. It's really holding this 520 level. Or are you in college? You trade during class? That's funny. Very cool. That's awesome that you've learned so young. Very cool. I would love to see one of these higher time frame candles close bearish. Being stuck in this range on the 5-minute doesn't make me feel good about my short. Definitely hitting that low volume part of the day. So on the hourly, our last hourly candle had a good strong rejection. Still have 30 minutes left until this one closes, so lots of time for that story to be told. We have about 3 minutes left until these current 15 and 30-minute candles close. So we'll see what those look like. Hopefully they look bearish. Hopefully we can get out of this 5-minute chop. The thing that I just turned off, that's the session volume profile. So from the New York open until current, like it extends right as price moves. Yeah, this is the volume profile. So this yellow dotted line is the point of control, which is kind of like the established fair price, fair value, I guess you could say, for the current session. Which you can see, because if I turn it off, this was an area where there was quite a bit of chop. So this is where the most volume has been traded, is right here at that point of control. So a lot of times price will return to the point of control. So that's a decent target if you're in a short. And then the white shaded region, the top of the white is a value area high, bottom of the white is the value area low. So this is where 70% of transactions have taken place during this current session. So as you get later into the session, like if you're trading after the lunch hour, power hour usually, using this session volume profile can actually be pretty powerful, because a lot of times it'll stay within this value area range. It's pretty cool. So you're asking if I take partial profits? Depends on the day. I usually do. Like today, I'm kind of counting on this thing dumping. Like I could see it going back to IB low, but I'm not going to hold the entire trade down there. I'll probably scale out. VWAP is a good target that I like to take off at. Also, if you look at the initial balance range, it's about 120 point range. The midpoint of the initial balance a lot of times is a good range, so that would be about 60 points, and that happens to sit right at VWAP. So that's a great target for me, in my opinion, to scale out at. So 486, 488, I'll probably do it at like 490-ish, just to be safe. Finally got outside of that chop. Let's see if we can actually close below it. Bouncing off of this New York anchored VWAP right now. I do like that it came back up to that 520 level, and it looks like so far it's rejecting. because that would be a good spot to stay below. If we get back up above 520, then I'm out. Because it was a good support for a really long time. So don't want it to provide any more support. Definitely want that to be resistance. Okay, George, were you in this short sitting through the chop? Is that the wild ride that you were talking about? Yeah, I feel ya. I'm almost to the point mentally where, like I said, I just want to set my profits and walk away. Go take my dog on a walk or something. I don't want to watch it anymore. Looking like it wants to break below that New York anchored VWAP. Happy with the 85. Yep. I think that's actually a decent feeling. Maybe not the best trading day ever, but like if you can get out of a pretty red day, I know you said you were just in drawdown, but like if you're pretty red and then you just get back to even the tiniest of green, like going from, 400 down to $20 green, I'll take it. Lock my account and live to trade another day. You see price going to 415 and then 370? Yeah. So my ultimate target, like if this thing just gets super bearish and dumps, 371 would be a good one because NQ does like to grab liquidity and sweep. But yeah, 342, really? And then like 275-ish. Because there's a 4 hour, no, not a fair value gap, but just kind of looking at this giant candle from Friday that never really retraced. So yeah, I could see it coming down to 340-ish. There's also some decent support there, 350. Don't want to be too crazy with my targets though. That's why I do prefer to scale out of my positions though. I know everyone's different, everyone has a different opinion, but for me, I like it because it allows me to lock in some profits. Because if I'm wrong and this thing doesn't continue to dump, then okay, at least I've locked in some profits and I'll trail my stop loss and I'll still make money. I'm good with that. But if I'm right, it allows me to capitalize on it. Chopping around the session point of control right now, which a lot of times is kind of a magnet and it will chop in this area. I'm just hoping that it's a chop and then continuation down. Mohammed, you were on that ride too? It was a stressful ride. I feel ya. No, Oreo, it's a sim funded. It's not a live funded account. It's not my own capital, and it's not a prop firm live. It's a funded account. Oh man. You took 6 trades in that zone. Hopefully they were all small little paper cuts, if they were losses. If they were wins, good job. That was a nice little range. Like if you were a scalper, from that 520 range up to 534-ish, it was a 15-point range. Decent opportunities in there. It's definitely not my style. I don't like to do that. Oreo, are you thinking about copy trading them? Is that kind of what you're debating? I don't know. It's your call. I mean, if you feel like you're being super consistent and you're pulling payouts out of one, then why not do 2? But if you feel like your focus is going to be worse because you have school and it's going to make trading harder, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't. Just stick with what's working for now. Well, I put my first take profit at 490, which I thought was fine because I was targeting VWAP and I gave it a little bit of room. VWAP is down at like 486, but I never came down and grabbed my orders. Yeah, the no personal devices thing is kind of widespread. I'm in Texas and we have the same thing. I think a lot of states passed that. So I'm still sitting somewhat comfortable in this trade because this 520-ish level was where the support was over the last 30 minutes. And price has been rejecting that so far. chop is continuing though. I really hope this is just trapping a whole bunch of buyers. And then Trump's gonna get on and say something and it's gonna dump all the way down. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for. So a few minutes ago, I was saying that I was hoping that the 15 and 30 minute, the higher time frames, would close with a good bearish candle, and it did. There's the 15 minute. That was a nice red candle. We're getting a bounce though. Is anyone taking any more trades right now? Are you guys locking things up? What are you guys doing in the chat? I like that so far it's rejecting this 520 level. Want to see some selling volume show up though. Yeah, Oreo, that's not a bad rule. And I usually don't try to look for trades at this time. This one I entered an hour ago and it's still going. So at this point, I'll just set my orders and let it play out. Either way. That might actually be what I do. Because I could see myself starting to like adjust targets and adjust my stop loss and start to do silly things in managing this trade since it's been taking so long to play out. So I have one set of targets at 590. I'll set another set of targets at this area of liquidity here at like 565, the 15-minute opening range low. Ultimate target 417 for the London low. Take some off at initial balance low at 427. make sure I have my stop loss set. Alright guys, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna let it run, let it play out. Because I can feel myself starting to get bored with it, I guess. And I don't want to mismanage my trade, so I'm just gonna let it play out. I feel like my reasoning for entering was good. We're just kind of in that slow grind part of the market. And I don't want to sit and stare at my screen. I'm gonna go hang out and get some stuff done. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. It's a free way to help get my content out there. Let more people know about the channel. Go hit that like button and subscribe. I do live stream daily, you guys. I'll be here again tomorrow morning at the New York Open. And then I'm gonna probably throw in a few power hour streams. If not tomorrow and the next day, sometime next week too. I want to start doing that. Now that my kids are back in school, I do have more time for that. So hit that subscribe button because it gives you a notification when I do go live. And then if you haven't already, join our Discord too. I put the link in the chat. We're growing our little community there. I usually share my trade plan in there. Kind of just mark off my levels and let you guys know my thoughts for the day. And we have a couple other people sharing their thoughts in there too. And then you can share your trades, get feedback on your trades. Wins, losses, whatever. Our goal is just to get better and grow together. Thanks for joining, you guys. I will catch you tomorrow. Take care.